All right, hello to you. Good afternoon. Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade here, and you know what time it is. Time to see what is happening out there in the tropics. We've been very fortunate so far. We've made it halfway through the month of June, and nothing, not a zilch happening in the tropics for the Atlantic basin. However, of course, we're still expecting an above average season. Colorado State University forecasters predicting that, and NOAA predicting that. CSU thinking 17 named storms, which is above the average of 14. Out of those, 9 becoming hurricanes, which is above that number of 7, and out of those, 4 becoming major hurricanes, which is above the average number of 3. Last year, we ended up with 18 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. Water temps out there are definitely warm enough to support tropical development in the Gulf. Middle 80s galore, a few low 80s, but overall some toasty water temperatures out there. Even in the western, southwestern Atlantic, western, northwestern Caribbean, we've got very warm water that usually would help these tropical systems to get going. However, as we check out our Saharan dust tracker, we've got a lot of dust out there. And of course, dusty air is dry air. So that kind of helps to limit some of that tropical development. We also have unfavorable winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So ingredients just not quite coming together at this point for us to get a tropical depression, tropical storm, or hurricane going for the Atlantic basin. However, it's been a different story for the Eastern Pacific. So we'll talk about a possible hurricane coming there in just a minute. But at least for now, National Hurricane Center thinking no tropical activity expected at least for the next 7 days in the Atlantic basin. So if you're heading out on a cruise, maybe for parts of the Caribbean or in the Gulf, maybe over towards Cancun and Cozumel, things are looking good, at least for the next week. Beyond that, all bets are off, but keep checking back with us. And if we see any tropical trouble out there, of course, we will keep you updated. All right, so as I mentioned, Saharan dust, unfavorable winds, limiting tropical development in the Atlantic. But now let's flip the script and talk about the Eastern Pacific. Already 4 named systems have occurred there just since the start of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season, which, by the way, was back on May 15th. We've already had Alvin, Barbara, Cosme, Delilah, and now we have Tropical Storm Erick. This tropical storm just formed, but it is already expected to become Hurricane Erick, likely within the next 24 hours. So a lot going on in the Eastern Pacific. This is already our 5th named storm of this, so far, short hurricane season. All right, it is definitely looking more impressive, more organized near Guatemala City on our tropical satellite. You can see the big swirl there. That is Tropical Storm Erick. It hasn't developed an eye wall just yet, but it is starting to become more symmetrical, looking more organized, and it is going to get pretty close to Acapulco as it is tracking to the west-northwest. Let me show you what we're expecting as far as where this is headed. Tuesday, 9 p.m. It's still going to be off of that southern Mexico, Central American coast. It is going to get closer to Acapulco over the Wednesday time frame. Notice early Thursday morning a well-defined eye showing up there to the south and east of Acapulco. It likely will be either a Category 1 or Category 2 hurricane by then, and it likely will make landfall as we go into Thursday evening, Thursday night, still bringing high wind and heavy rain throughout the day on Friday to parts of southern Mexico. So we certainly have to keep a close eye on this one. Doesn't look like it's going to come to the Houston area. It's not going to cross over into the Gulf, but it is going to be a problem if you are heading to southern Mexico or if you have friends, family in southern Mexico. All right, here's the current track for Tropical Storm Erick. Maximum sustained winds at 50 miles per hour. Pressure at 1,001 millibars, and movement is to the northwest at 7 miles per hour. Location 12.9 degrees north, 94.4 degrees west. You can see Guatemala City there, San Salvador, Tegucigalpa. It is going to continue that northwesterly track. Notice becoming a Category 1 hurricane by Wednesday night, or Wednesday afternoon rather. 90-mile-per-hour winds, 1 a.m. Thursday up to 110 miles per hour. That is a Category 2 hurricane, so this is the real deal heading towards southern Mexico, likely making landfall as either a 2 or a 1 as far as hurricane strength by Thursday afternoon and evening. By Friday, it's going to start to weaken as it moves over land, but very close to Acapulco. There will likely be a landfalling hurricane sometime during the afternoon on Thursday. So we're monitoring that system closely. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on what's happening in the Atlantic basin as well. But keep in mind, just because it has been an extremely slow start across the Atlantic basin, that doesn't mean a thing. We still have not even come close to getting to what is typically the busiest part of hurricane season. So that would be late August, all of September, and usually the first few weeks of October before things start to kind of calm down. So we'll keep a close eye on it. Before now, Gulf looking good, Caribbean looking good, Atlantic looking good. Now, speaking of the Atlantic basin, maybe you got a big cruise planned. We are going to be dealing with some decent cruise conditions. Future wave height showing that, yes, there will be some waves out there, mainly 2 to 4 feet over towards the Bahamas, Cancun, Cozumel. Out in the Gulf, we could have some 5 to 7 foot waves, but nothing too crazy showing up if you do have a cruise planned for this weekend. 2 to 4 feet waves will mainly be the rule for our cruise destination spots. Maybe it's Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Cancun, over towards Nassau. Maybe some 5-foot waves as we look out closer to the Puerto Rico area. But overall, nothing that is going to cause any major issues. So before I leave you, let's break down your cruise forecast. This is for Cancun for this weekend. Maybe you're hopping on Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and you're going to make a stop here. There will be a chance for some spotty storms, 30 to 40% shot Friday and Sunday. Lower chance on Saturday. Breezy, temps near 90, but overall, nothing too crazy. At least it's not a hurricane. All right, cruise weather looking great for you in the Bahamas this weekend as well. Isolated showers, temperatures near 90 degrees. Over towards San Juan, Puerto Rico. I've been here on a cruise stop. I wish it stayed longer. We stayed there for about 4 or 5 hours, but it was a beautiful place. And if you are going there this weekend, there's only a low shot for a stray shower, 10 to 20% chance, and temperatures not too crazy, low to middle 80s. So another beautiful place to visit, and the weather definitely cooperating. All right, finally, we've got the Cozumel, Mexico area, another popular cruise stop. Temperatures near 90 through the weekend. The problem day will likely be on Sunday, where there's going to be a 50 to 60% chance for some scattered showers and storms. So we'll be monitoring that closely, but overall things are looking pretty good for your cruise weather.